Film fans, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my review of Sick. Now streaming on Peacock. It's directed by John Hyams and written by the screenwriter who did the original Scream, which is Kevin Williamson. That's really important to understand the inner workings of this movie. Starring Gideon Adlon and Bethlehem. Whew. Hopefully I said those guys' names right, or girls, I should say, because it's just really complicated writing it down in my notes. And I was like, I'm really bad at names. Sorry if I messed them up. But is this movie the next Scream franchise, or is it a dud? Let's get into the premise. While quarantined at her family's lake house during the beginning of the pandemic, Parker and her best friend Miri are threatened by an unsuspected visitor. Sick is rated R for intense violence, terror, language throughout, and some drug use. This movie takes place in April 2020, in the beginning of the pandemic, or when the public started feeling the beginning of the pandemic, and it takes full use of that setting, making some real meta jokes and meta world building of the way we were living our lives. The way we have to separate in lines, wearing the mask, when you see someone cough, how scared everyone gets, you're not knowing if they have the sickness or not. And I really enjoyed them just putting us right back into that, because that's the core of the film, it being about COVID-19 outbreaks, quarantine, and the things that people did to keep people safe and the things that people didn't do to keep people safe. And that was like an important theme throughout this horror slasher film. Parker and Miri, two best friends, go and quarantine together at a lake house by themselves. And, they're just having a great time. They have their inner young person drama. They didn't really say the ages of the characters, but they're like between like 20, 25 years old, and they're having their school and boy drama, and they're going through that. But while they're doing that, they're getting text messages from an unknown number who's saying they know where they are, but they're not taking it seriously because everyone posts their location everywhere. And I like that they touched on that, the dangers of social media as well, and everyone posting what they're doing in the moment and how that can affect your safety. So in the beginning, after the initial sequence which was really exciting, and then we get to meet Parker and Miri, a lot of the beginning stuff felt like it was unneeded information. It was just talking about boys and the drama and parties and breaking up and getting back together. It felt like it was padding, and it wasn't really fleshing out the characters. But once the slasher comes in and we start getting into the meat of the story, getting to the scares of it, when we start finding out things, you start to realize that stuff in the beginning wasn't padding. It was actually integral to the story, and I really like that because it made the film feel more clever than I expected it to be at first. So while Parker and Miri are at this lake house, Parker's ex-boyfriend, fling, whatever you want to say, DJ comes unexpectedly and interrupts their gal pal party that they were having. And I think that these three characters were really great slasher horror movie characters, with them making very intelligent decisions that made me root for them easily. Because a lot of times when you watch these movies, you're like, why are you doing that? That's so stupid. But these characters were on top of it and were just in an impossible situation with this unknown menace coming after them, with them only making mistakes in the heat of the moment, in the heat of panic, when their lives are on the line. And I thought that was really smart writing and really great acting by these three to show like the panic and the situations they were in, and the directing and the way they filmed everything when they were making these decisions, when they were in the tussle, when they're running away, was superb. The opening sequence of the film doesn't have anything to do with our core characters, but it sets the tone for the film. It's intense, it's brutal, it has some satirical, funny moments to it as well, and I really liked how it set me up to know, like, okay, this is gonna be something that's gonna be intense throughout, and has the director and the writer knows what they're doing. They understand the tone, and I felt immediately like I'm in good hands for this ride. The director, John Hyams, only has a couple TV directing and writing jobs under him. He doesn't really have that many movies that he's done, but I think that he did a fantastic job, not only directing this film, directing his actors, but also using the space that they were in to make things very interesting. The way the production design and the house that they were in was set up, where the hallways kind of like curved in and out and how he would swerve between that to really create this sense of dread and you don't know what's coming around the corner. I think he did a fantastic job throughout directing moments to moments, especially the choreographed fights that were happening here, those struggles with the slasher or when the slasher was coming after people. I think they set up so many different set pieces and moments that were refreshing to see. And with the intelligence of the writing, because the characters felt intelligent, it just made the movie really, really enjoyable and intense. I think that if you are a fan of the slasher horror genre, there are some gnarly kills in this that they set up that you're going to really, really enjoy. And there's a twist that I will not spoil at all in the third act that I didn't see coming, and it combines all the teen drama that they talked about before in the beginning, the opening of the film that felt like it was so disconnected, and all the chaos and stuff that was going on with the slasher within throughout the movie as that started happening. And I thought that was really, really good. The third act opens up and it becomes super chaotic and super tense and super brutal, and I really, really enjoyed how fun it became. So while I do enjoy the movie's tone and how it was set and directed and everything like that, I do think that the film could have served if it had a bit more jokes. If it was a little bit more funnier, it would have raised this film up to screen level if they could have had some more funnier jokes, especially in the beginning of the film before the carnage began, because some of those scenes felt a little flat because it was just regular conversations, and I don't think the actors, while good throughout the second and third act when the carnage is going on, I don't think the actors are strong enough in those particular moments to really make it super interesting at all times. When the slasher is there, they are fantastic. But when the slasher is not there and they're just doing regular life things, I'm like, okay, let's move on. Even though the information ends up being important, those scenes in the moment when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, this is okay. This could be better. But later on, I had to give them the due to the main three actors and the slasher that they did a great job doing those tense moments. Let me get into my verdict. So who is this for and should you check it out? I think if you're a fan of movies like Hush, You're Next, the original Scream, the most recent Scream because of how meta and current it is, and slasher films in general, I think this is something you should check out, especially since it's on Peacock. If you have Peacock, you can just watch it and stream it. You don't really have to, no extra cost if you already have the service. I think it was a really, really fun time. And I think that if you're a fan of those movies in that genre, you're going to enjoy what Kevin Williamson and John Hyams did here with the directing and the writing and the way the story plays out. And how do I feel overall? I really had a great time with this movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. It kept me on my seat, intense during those really crazy moments when the slasher showed up. And it really took me for a ride because I didn't know exactly what was happening. And then when they revealed it, I was actually surprised. And it was really good meta commentary on the world and how we were back in 2020 when COVID first started, with having entertaining characters who, while not perfect, were good with some really great writing and really great directing. So with that said, I'm going to give Sick a C+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Sick if you saw it? And if you have not seen Sick, based on my review, is it something you think you're going to check out? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And if you like the review, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my upcoming reviews, reactions, and ranking list. Up next, I have a review for Missing coming soon. I have my ticket already for that film, so be tuned for that. And I have trailer reactions and a special video coming out next week that I'm really excited to do. So stay tuned and you can watch more of my content right now.